And now, it's time to see what was in your inbox last night with Michelle from Payometry Labs, the Friday Regulatory Review.
Hello, payments pirates and fintech floozies. TGI Friday, am I right? The regulatory and legal enforcement news is coming at us fast and furious these days. As an attorney, former political professional, and a payments SME, this is emerging as my wheelhouse, so we're trying something new with a Friday Regulatory Review to make sure you haven't missed anything this week. In our experience, by Friday, most of the stuff in your inbox last night was already covered earlier in the week, so it's a good day for a spotlight. First, a recap. This will be easy. Let's look at the up and the down. Last week, we found regulation going up in border cities along the U.S.-Mexico border, with new reporting and Social Security requirements for any bank transactions of $200 or above. We also saw the oversight powers of the Secretary of the Treasury go up. The Treasury Secretary is seeking more control over the payment systems used by the federal government and the actual payments themselves. A large step in that direction was made this week by declaring a digital payments shift from paper checks at the federal level, placing the framework and enforcement with the Department of the Treasury. At the same time, states are asking for more regulation from the federal government. It seems stablecoins are freaking them out at the state level, and they're hoping for some direction. At the same time, regulations went down in some places as well. The U.S. Treasury dialed back anti-money laundering rules, exempting domestic firms from ownership reporting. Here are more stories centered around regulation and enforcement that were in your inbox last night. From Banking Dive, the CFPB withdrew a legal brief that supported the New York Attorney General's case against Citibank, admitting the filing was inappropriate. The Bureau had proposed a new interpretation of the Electronic Funds Transfer Act that had no judicial precedent, suggesting EFTA could cover wire transfers despite existing exclusions. The CFPB acknowledged this stance lacked fair notice to regulated parties and bypassed standard rulemaking procedures. The move reflects a broader rollback under the current administration, including the dismissal of several enforcement actions initiated under previous leadership. Banking Dive also says the CFPB is seeking to vacate a redlining settlement with Townstone Financial and return the $105,000 it paid. Acting Director Russ Vought criticized the original case, initiated under previous leadership, as abusive and lacking evidence, targeting the company based on controversial speech rather than clear regulatory violations. The agency also cited First Amendment concerns. This reversal follows a broader trend of case dismissals, Capital One, J.P. Morgan, Wells Fargo, under the Trump-era CFPB leadership. And FinExtra explains that the CFPB plans to revoke an interpretive rule that would have treated by now pay-later products like credit cards, granting consumers similar protections like dispute rights and refunds. This U-turn comes after a lawsuit by the Financial Technology Association, which claimed the rule exceeded the CFPB's authority. The rule was seen as part of a broader regulatory clampdown, which is now being unwound under new leadership that has dropped several lawsuits against major banks. Brookings authors argue that the Fed's proposal to lower debit card swipe fees could worsen debanking, where consumers lose or are denied access to bank accounts. For banks, swipe fees help subsidize basic accounts for low-income customers. Reducing these fees may make offering such accounts unsustainable, pushing more people out of the financial system. The article suggests that regulating overdraft fees would be more effective and warns of unintended consequences like fintech favoritism and megabank advantages. Well, what are your plans for the weekend? Hey, I don't have a crystal ball, but as far as I know, this stuff will all still be here on Monday. So get out of here and have a great weekend. Just come back next week so we can continue telling you what was in your inbox last night. Please remember to subscribe. That's completely free, and you'll get the links to all of these stories. And we'll be starting our live event soon, so become an executive member and join us in the LinkedIn group. That's it for today, payments people and fintech friends. Stay hydrated, hodl those tokens, and keep saving your money. You'll be able to afford eggs soon.
This has been the Friday Regulatory Review, your inbox last night with Michelle from Payometry Labs.